and he was quite okay. Then he came to home. And after that, he wanted to try swimming in different lakes, rivers, as told by Mandasar in the last class. He wanted to go for fishing. And you can come to the page number right now, 27. Let me continue quickly from here. Then you can get the idea, students. This handicap stayed with me as the years rolled by. Rolled by means the years went on. And accordingly, this handicap, what handicapped? Incapable of doing something, inability to swim. This kind of fear was there, and he tried swimming in different lakes. Like canoes is a kind of small boat, rowing over there. You can row in the small boat, that is canoeing. In the main lakes, fishing for landlocked salmon is a kind of fish, as I already told you. Bass is also a kind of marine fish, very fresh like salmon, you can say. And he went to New Hampshire, it is a state in the US. Trout fishing on the destitutes and Metolius origin. Trout is also a kind of fish, you can say, almost a kind of salmon, you can say. Fishing on the destitutes, it's a kind of destitutes and Metolius are two countries in the US, you can say, and in origin particularly in Oregon. Fishing for salmon on the Columbia is also a state in the US. Okay, he went over there. There is a lake, bumping lake in the Cascades. Cascades is a kind of steep waterfall. So he wanted to try swimming in different lakes and rivers. And the intention of William Douglas was just to throw out his fear of water, or was just to kill his enemy. What is the enemy here? The enemy is the fear of water. So he wanted to kill. He wanted to win over his fear of water. That's why he wanted to try in different lakes and rivers. It ruined my fishing trips, deprived me of the joy of canoeing, boating and swimming. So whatever attempt he made, he went to rivers, he went to lakes, but this hunting fear, the fear of water, that has been hunting him, that has been following him. Okay, and that fear has gripped this boy since that time, and he is not free from the claws of that fear, you can say. I used every way I knew to overcome this fear, but it held me firmly in its grip. I just told it, in the grip, William Douglas was there. What is the grip here? The grip is referred to the fear of water that is still there in his mindset. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. You can get a question here. Why did he decide to get an instructor? It is very obvious. He wanted to learn swimming well. That's why he thought of appointing an instructor so that he could learn how to swim well. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days a week. And you can read the line here, how very carefully and how meticulously the instructor was going to attach a rope to the belt, and the belt went through a pulley that ran on an overhead cable. He held on at the one of the rope. The instructor, he was holding it at one end of the rope, and we went back and forth across the pool, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. So this is a practice, having a pulley, a rope, and a belt that was tied around the waist. And this boy was being helped by the instructor. Instructor was standing by one side of the pool, and the boy was going into the water, fluffing his legs, and again coming out of the water. So this is a kind of practice. It went for weeks. On each trip across the pool, a bit of the panic seized me. What is the panic here? Fear. Okay, the intense fear. What is the fear here? The fear of water. Okay, because when he was drowning in the water, that fear had seized him. And we have gone through a line, students. That line was, stark terror seized me. Intense fear of water that has still seized him. Each time the instructor relaxed his hold of the rope and I went under, some of the old terror returned and my legs froze. So when there was a relaxation from the rope, he was going inside the water. At that time he could visualize the terrible experience he had gone through, okay, at the pool YMCA. So that fear was coming at that time, and his leg was somehow freezing, unable to walk properly. It was 3 months before the tension began to slack. So approximately weeks after weeks, somehow some months are over, and at that time William Douglas felt that this pure concept of water started receding from his mindset, started diminishing from his mindset. Okay, it was 3 months before the tension began to slack, means what became less day by day. Then he taught me to put my face under water and exhale. Exhale means what? Breathing out. So, you know, when you go to learn swimming, there are a number of strokes. Sometimes people are going for chest swimming, chest inside the water, back inside the water, side stroke is there also there, side inside the water. And somehow when you go for back stroke, you can see only the nose and your mouth sometimes is coming out of the water, so that you can inhale, you can exhale, so you can breathe out. So this is a practice that was going on at that time. To raise my nose and inhale, I repeated exercise 100 of times. So see, practice makes a man perfect. If you practice everything, whatever assignment given to you, whatever thing you determine to do, then there is undoubtedly success that is coming to touch of it. Bit by bit, I set part of the panic. What is bit by bit? Step by step. He started setting the part, meaning what? Killing the drop of fear. Okay, day by day, bit by bit, the drop of fear was killed by William Douglas. That seized William Douglas when my head went underwater. So when his head was going inside the water, he was somehow reminiscent of that particular fear that he himself experienced at YMCA pool after being thrown by a big browser. Next, he held me at the side of the pool, had me kick with my legs. So now he's trying his legs to kick inside the water and learn. For weeks, I did just that. See, again practice. For weeks, again he continued kicking his legs inside the water and learning swimming. At first, my legs refused to walk because, you know, in the previous classes, there is a very good line. He felt his legs paralyzed when he was trying to come to the surface of water. But now, that paralyzed legs, at that time he felt here, somehow he felt that perhaps his leg is not going to work. But yes, he wanted to use his legs very carefully and very confidently. And what happened here? At first, my legs refused to work. So initially he had problems. He felt his legs are stiff, but gradually relaxed, and finally I could command them. So he could control, he could guide his legs well, and started walking. Therefore, piece by piece, he built a swimmer. A question may come, students, here in the exam. How did the instructor build a swimmer in William Douglas? I repeat, how did the instructor build a swimmer in William Douglas? Very important question, students, remember this. And you can quote this line in the answer. Piece by piece, bit by bit, weeks after weeks. Okay, step by step. The instructor built a swimmer in William Douglas. And this is the determination, or you can say indomitable spirit of William Douglas. And for that reason, the resolution, the determination of William Douglas, for that reason, okay, he is now going to win over his enemy. Who is his enemy? The fear of water. And when he had perfected each piece, he put them together into an integrated whole. So once William Douglas learned all the skills, all techniques of swimming, then he was somehow relaxed by the instructor. And in the month of April, he said, who said? The instructor said that now you can swim. So when he was very sure that this boy is okay right now, he is all right, he learned all the techniques of swimming, he told that you go dive up and swim the length of the pool and crawl stroke. So varieties of techniques were there. He started diving off the length of pool and crawl stroke. He practiced everything. I did. The instructor was finished. The instructor was finished doesn't mean he was killed. He was finished means his job was over. So once he was able to build a swimmer in William Douglas, his job is over. The assignment given to him was over. And now, I was not finished. That means his job he has done. He knows how to swim well. He has trained me. So now my turn has come to showcase my talent, that in which way I have been trained and in which way I go to exhibit, okay, my training experiences into reality. I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. So, it is obvious. When you have got a kind of terror in your childhood days, and in the adulthood stage, when you are sitting alone, when you are alone somewhere also, there is a possibility that a glimpse of that fear somehow comes to you. It's like actually a vision that comes to your mindset. So this is a kind of terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. So he felt that terror was alive sometimes at that time. I swam the length up and down, tiny vestiges of the old terror would return. So when he was trying alone by himself in the pool, somehow he was able to see what is tiny, very small signs of fear. So not a big area of fear here, small area of fear. Tiny means very small signs of that old terror, fear of water, was somehow going to alive in his mindset. It was somehow returning to him when he was alone in the pool and trying to swim. But now I could frown. But now William Douglas has gained courage. He has gained confidence. Okay, and he has gained his spirit of positivity. Now he could challenge all odds. That's why what happened here, with a kind of frowning look, angry look, what did he say? Trying to scare me. To whom? The water. The fear here. The fear of water. Trying to scare me. You are trying to scare me. Do you think I'll be apprehended by your appearance? Well, here is to you. So by telling this, he was again swimming. Okay, look, and off I would go for another length of the pool. So this is a kind of challenge that William Douglas was doing to water, the fear of water here, and he was trying to swim here and there. This went on until July, but I was still not satisfied. I was not sure that all the terror had left. So after having practiced for several days, still William Douglas felt that somehow there is a tiny vestige of fear still alive in my mindset. So I want to kill it permanently and completely. So what he did? He went to the Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire. These are cities, okay, in the US. New Hampshire. Dive off a duck, okay, at Triggs Island, and swam 2 miles across the lake to Stamp Act Island. So these are the lakes, okay. He wanted to go there, and finally went to New Hampshire, went within Hampshire, diving off a duck, okay. A duck means what? It is a body of water between piers. Between piers means between pieces. There are 2 pieces, and inside that a water bodies are there. There are two landscape areas, and inside that water are there. So this is the place dock, we can say. So Triggs Island was there in the same position, in the same situation it was there. So he swam 2 miles across the lake to Stamp Act Island, another island. He went there to try his swimming. I swam the crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 strokes he tried over there, okay? And what was the intention? Intention to kill his enemy completely. Only once did the terror return. When I was in the middle of the lake, I put my face under and I saw nothing but bottomless water. The old sensation returned in miniature. So when he was going inside the water, that old fear was able to come to his mindset. Okay, the old sensation returned in miniature. So in a small form, what is miniature? In a small form, that old terror was coming to my mindset. That sense of fear of water was coming to my mindset. But I did have courage at that time, and I could challenge that fear. So what did I do? He laughed and said, "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" It fed and so on. So when he could win over, when he could get rid of it, the fear of water, then that fear of water vanished, disappeared. And it fled means what? It passed away, it went away. And he continued swimming comfortably. Last para, students, is very important. Listen to me carefully. Yet had residual doubts. Residual doubts means doubt still remaining in your mindset. Maybe that is 100% or even 1% doubt is still. That is called residual doubt. Some percentage of doubt is still there in his mindset. At my first opportunity, I hurried west, went off the Teton to Conrad Meadows, off the Conrad Creek Trail to meet Glacier, and camped in the high meadow by the side of Warm Lake. The next morning I stripped. So these are the places: Creek Trail, Meet Glacier, Conrad Meadows. These are the areas where lakes are there, rivers are there, so that he could go well and he could go to try his swimming. And there is a warm lake, okay, in the high meadow area. He went there. The purpose was to kill his fear of water completely, remember. The next morning I stripped means what? He opened his dress, everything. Okay, and he dived into the lake, swam across to the other shore and back. So with open body, with bare body, he could swim comfortably without any problem, any challenges, any hindrance, any impediments, any barriers. He went back and forth completely. He swam, just as Doc Corpron used to do. Doc Corpron, students, write it down carefully. He is a swimmer who contributed to improving lives of people in the Yakima Valley, and he was born in Burlington. Okay, so this man has a great role to play because he wanted to support the swimmers, those who are trying in what? Yakima Valley particularly. So his name is Doc Corpron. I shouted with joy, Gilbert Peak, it is a mountain peak at Yakima country, returned the echo. So when he was shouting loudly, exhilaration, excitement, ecstasy was there. He was shouting loudly when he was swimming well, comfortably. So his loud sound was going on, echoing. Okay, and that was clearly audible, again coming back to his ear from Gilbert Peak, a mountain peak in Yakima country. I had conquered my fear of water. This is the stage, you can say, students. William Douglas now has been or has become able to kill his fear of water finally. Last para is undoubtedly very, very, very important. The experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known stark terror and conquered it can appreciate. So he said that, like William Douglas, many people are there. So in order to experience a practical fear of water like William Douglas has felt, maybe there are occasions people have felt like William Douglas. And this kind of fear or stark terror, when you go to conquer it finally, then you appreciate your effort, you appreciate that in which way you have been able to overcome this problem. Next line is very important, student. Listen to me carefully. There is terror only in the fear of death. The first line is, in death there is peace. There is terror only in the fear of death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, all we have to fear is fear itself. Because, write it down in the paper if you have, or the copy you have, using a pen. I explain the meaning to you very clearly. Don't be confused. In death there is peace. There is terror only in the fear of death. Write it down. There is terror, fear, and anxiety when one fears of death, but when one is dead, there is no more fear or terror or simply any sensation apart from just peace and tranquility. And the line that was told by Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, you might have heard his name, when he said, all we have to fear is fear itself. What does it mean? Write it down, please. Douglas has experienced both the sensation of dying and terror. That fear of it can produce the strong will hard determination, courage and toil, as well as honest labor, win over all our terror and fears. The will to live brushes aside all our fears. In reality, all our terrors and fears are nothing but psychological, and the same can be won over. So this fear is psychological, and people are having sometimes like this. So once you win over your psychological fear, then you will find a solution from that fear. Okay? And this fear of death is nothing but, what is that? It is a kind of psychological fear, and that fear normally happens when you have confronted a kind of situation in which somehow a concept of fear has entered into your mindset, like William Douglas in his childhood days. I hope you got the meaning of this line I explained very beautiful to you. I had experienced both the sensation of dying and terror. So he's telling here. So when he was drowning in the YMCA pool, two things he was experiencing. A condition he felt he was dying, and terror that fear of it can produce, and fear of water. It was also inside his mindset. Again, he was fearing that he was dying. The will to live somehow grew in intensity. But he was quite hopeful. He was optimist that he would definitely survive. He would definitely fight with water. That was a kind of mindset. I had experienced both the sensations. So in his lifetime, he has faced these situations. Dying situation he has felt, and situation of terror, of fear of water he has felt, and in the same time also the will to live further, the will to fight with water, and the wit he had in the mindset to fight with water, to kick the bottom 3 times, to jump like a cock, and to save his life. So these are the confidences, you can see the examples of positive mindsets of William Douglas we have seen that he has tried. And the last para, at last I felt released. What is release? I felt relaxed. Now no fear is there. Now fear of water, my enemy, everybody has gone. Free to walk the trails and climb the peaks. Now any journey, any difficult journey, any trails he wanted to make, any kind of peak mountain he wanted to climb, he didn't need to have a kind of courage right now, because already courage is there. Confidence has come. Okay, indomitable spirit has come to him, and to brush aside fear. So these things, this positivity, this optimism, this confidence, resolution, promising attitude, all these things have finally killed fear concept in his mindset. It may be the fear of water, or fear of climbing up a steep mountain or a peak mountain, whatever. So the whole chapter has come to an end. And finally, you should remember some important words are there to remember, and how William Douglas has gone to use those things, or he developed these words in his mindset. What is number 1? Determination. Okay, resolution, confidence, sincerity. Okay, honesty in his attempt, and overall, if you consider in all the words in one way, we can say this boy William Douglas didn't lose courage. Okay, he had great interest to learn, and that is why an instructor he appointed, and finally he won the battle. Finally he killed his enemy. Who is his enemy? The fear of water. I'm going to give you MCQ questions in the Google form tomorrow. Let me see how much you get from MCQ questions, and other short questions with hot question I'm going to share with you people in the WhatsApp group tomorrow. Hope for the best. Have a good day.